What is going on, YouTube? And welcome back to my channel, JoJo Speaks. Thank you all so much for joining us for this being our review, mine and Dustin's review, that is, of 90 Day Fiance, Season 12, Episode 9. A couple things I want y'all to do before we get started. Be sure to subscribe to my channel. Press that big white subscribe button. It is free and easy to do. It takes less than a second to mash that thing. So why don't you go ahead and mash it for a brother? Also, be sure to press the thumbs up button for this video. Let me know you're enjoying the content I'm putting out on my channel. Be sure to leave a comment. Let me know your thoughts on the various couples we'll be discussing on tonight's review. Also, be sure to press the notification bell so you're notified every time I post a new video. And last but certainly not least, be sure to share JoJo Speaks with all your family, friends, and loved ones. Let everybody know JoJo Speaks is out here in these YouTube streets. As many of you probably know, there was no new episode of The Real Housewives of Atlanta this week, so there will be no review this week. However, tomorrow I should be releasing my review for RuPaul's Drag Race All Stars. I think it's All Stars 11, episode 10, if I'm not mistaken. So that should be released tomorrow. So be on the lookout for that. Dustin, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing awesome. I'm doing awesome. Let's get into this review. So let's start out with the couple that gave us the least this episode, which was Katie and Josh. There's really not much to say about them. Hold on, wait a minute. Auntie Robin is in the building. She says, hello, hello, Auntie Robin. So glad that you were here. Let's get into the mess, girl. So Katie and Josh just really have a nightcap of, well, not a nightcap, but an overview of what happened on the previous episode for her birthday. She starts crying, and she points out the gift that Ryan gave her. It's a whole mess, and it's Katie also reveals to us that she's lost a lot of friends in the past. We have a comment from Olivia. Oh, Olivia says, hello, happy Monday. Happy Monday to you, Olivia. I'm so glad you decided to join us.
Monday.
So Katie's crying, and she's talking about all these things that she's doing to make people not want to be in her life anymore. And it's like, if you can put two and two together, you can understand that your behavior has a direct correlation with the fact that you are losing all of these friends. And my mother pointed out something to me earlier today, that it doesn't seem like Katie has any female friends. Whenever we see Katie out and about, there's always a lot of men around her. I have a feeling that maybe she has a tendency to kiss on and possibly sleep with other females, men, or something of that nature. Who knows? Katie did end up apologizing to Josh. Josh did explain to her what she did. She claims that she did not remember anything from the other night besides the conversation that they had with Ryan. She does apologize, but then Josh goes on to say, apology means nothing when your behavior continues to stay the same. There's no difference. And Robin also says hello to Olivia here in the comments. As I said in the previous in our review last week, I'm done with feeling sorry for Josh. He has every right to leave. I have a feeling that production has a big hand in all of these storylines. I don't know if he's contractually obligated to stay in America for a certain amount of time or to stay on the show for a certain amount of time. I see no excuse for him not leaving Katie. I really don't see any excuse for him not leaving her. Auntie Robin says down in the comments, I said the same thing. She has no female friends. Yeah, that's interesting to me. I won't say it's crazy necessarily, but that's interesting to me. Jennifer doesn't have, that many female friends. She tends to have more male friends, and there's nothing wrong with that. That goes both ways in a lot of situations. So
Same thing with me.
I just have a feeling that because we haven't seen one friend of Katie's that is a female, that is a glaring sign. What were you going to say, Dustin?
I said the same thing with me. I have a lot of male friends. I don't have a lot of female friends.
Yeah, I have a lot more female friends than I do male friends. So it's completely different for everyone. Olivia says something is off with Josh. Like he either wants to be an influencer based on his pages, or really forcing her almost to be a wife. Yeah, it does sort of kind of seem like that, Olivia, that he's trying to force her to be something that she is not. And just as I said about Aisha, if your supposed person is not who you want them to be when you meet them, there's a good chance that things are not going to change somewhere along the way. There's a good there's a good chance that they're going to stay the exact same that they were when you met them. And things aren't going to change. Olivia also
Mm-hmm.
says like she isn't ready to be married. I agree with that, Olivia. Anyone
Mm-hmm.
can see that, right? And even the friend was trying to help her express it, but he um, oh yeah, he ignores it all um, just to have a wife. Yeah, it does seem like Josh like desperately wants to marry Katie, and I have no idea why, and I really cannot put my finger on it. Auntie Robin also says, spoiler, I saw a YouTube video where they said that she has been like this since college and has no female friends because she always does something to make them turn on her. Oh wow! I will leave out other spoilers. Okay, thank you so much for that, Auntie Robin, giving us only the information that we need. HR is on the job. One more comment from Lady Virgo, and then we'll get to you, Justin. Hey, Lady Virgo.
But
Lady Virgo says, "Good evening, everyone, and happy Monday." Happy Monday to you, Lady Virgo. Thank you so much for joining us. So, Dustin, do you think that Josh is ever going to leave Katie, or do you think he's going to continuously, voluntarily put himself through this torture? Because it seems like he's not leaving
I
anytime.
think that he's going to continue to put himself through the torture. I don't see him leaving Katie. Uh, anytime. I hope he does, but I don't see him leaving her.
Yeah.
Uh, he don't deserve that. Nobody did. Nobody deserves to be treated like that. So he has to be the one to make the final decision.
Right.
Jonathan, I hope, as you know me all this time, I would put up with that kind of stuff myself, and I don't expect you. I don't expect you to put up with that anything because of it. If anybody does anything, I wouldn't accept it, and you shouldn't accept it either. So that's just my opinion. Mm-mm.
Yeah, it does seem to me that Josh is dictating a whole lot in their relationship. Not necessarily dictating Katie's behavior necessarily because he doesn't like her behavior, but
Mhm.
it's really up to Josh whether they stay together or not. I don't see Katie leaving Josh for any reason. I don't know
Well,
why Katie wants to be with Josh. It makes no sense to me. Not even on episode 9. Um, Auntie Robin says hello to Lady Virgo. Not even on episode 9. I can't really get as to why.
I can't picture whether they're together.
Yeah, I can't picture it either. So we'll see if anything clears up as time goes on. But let's move on to Rosh and Mallory. So Rosh and Mallory have a very important conversation concerning finances. Now we do see that Mallory did end up buying a bidet for Rosh. It was a $25 bidet. Raj called it cheap, but he seemed to enjoy it. Considering all the things that he was saying, and he was saying that she should try it out and all that good stuff. So it seems like he's somewhat happy with it. Instead of buying the
Hmm.
$800 bidet that they were seeing at the store on the previous episode. Auntie Robin says, "Is it me or does anyone else not see any romantic sparks between Josh and Katie? I see none whatsoever. To be honest, I'm surprised that they've even been
Uh, Jonathan, you're frozen. Froze on my side. Is anybody else frozen?
okay. There we go.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, I'm
Sorry,
sorry about that, but
sorry
but
about that.
yeah,
I didn't know if it was me or you, so I just wanted to.
it's okay. It's totally fine. Something was going on where the comments weren't going away when I clicked on it. And Olivia says hello to Lady Virgo and happy Monday to her as well. Okay, and Olivia says, yeah, it froze on me. Okay, so hopefully we're back on track with this. I'm sorry about that, you guys. But anyway, so Mallory and Raj, after he gets the bidet and he tries it out, he's very happy with it. They have a conversation in the shed concerning finances, and she writes down all of her monthly costs, and she shows it to
Hmm.
Raj. And Raj is like, Rosh doesn't seem to understand the concept of how we earn money here in America and decide to spend it in America. So he seems to have, there seems to be a disconnect there. She already said that she's not touching her insurance fund that she received, her insurance claim rather, that she received after her accident. She's not touching that money, which I think is an extremely smart thing for her to do. So I appreciate that. And then they get into the conversation about a prenup. And Rosh is not amenable to this conversation whatsoever. Thankfully, he understands what a prenup means when she explains it to him, but he feels as though Mallory is focusing on them possibly breaking up sometime in the future. And I don't think he understands. Maybe he feels as though Mallory doesn't trust him. I don't know. Prenuptial agreement conversations are probably never easy because when you ask someone for a prenup, it does lead them to believe that you don't trust them. But I've heard a lot of people say when you divorce someone, you're not divorcing the person that you married. So a lot of things can change. As Mallory said, in 20 years, they can be in a completely different place. And so they never know how things are going to work out in the future. Olivia says Rosh might be a scammer for real, for real. I don't want to believe that, Olivia, but it might be the case. I don't want to believe it right now. And so far, he hasn't shown any signs of being a scammer, at least not to me. But who knows? That could be up for debate.
Well, I kind of get that feeling. So I kind of get that feeling.
What gives you that feeling, Dustin?
Because he kind of gives me the what's the word I want, man? I can't think of the word, but right
Okay.
now, he kind of gives me the he just kind of gives me that kind of feeling that he wants all of her money, and he kind of gives me the gold digger feeling.
It does seem that way just a little bit. I will agree
Right.
with that. Olivia says Rosh wants to be a kept man, talking about she needs to have kids, a bidet, give money to his family. Like maybe wait until you can work. I don't know. Yeah, he is asking Mallory to send his family at least $150 every month, and for him to ask that question after she lays out all of her expenses, to me, tells me either he does not understand what Mallory's current financial situation is, or he just does not want to consider it whatsoever and will just assume that she has all the money to be able to do whatever it is that he feels like she should be able to do.
Uh,
It's kind of hard to pick up on. Auntie Robin
mm,
says, I don't think Rosh is a scammer. I don't think so either, Auntie Robin. He seems to really love Mallory. I see that as well. What I want to know is what his thoughts are for earning money. Wow. Once he's eligible to work. Yeah, that would be interesting. She did say that he worked in some type of carpentry or construction while he was in Turkey. So he does have the ability to get a job. But I don't know exactly what the process is of how long they have to wait. I think they have to wait until they get a green card before they can
they
start
have to
working.
wait. They have to wait till they get their green card to get it.
Yeah, I kind of figured that was the case. Olivia says, and going to her car crash site last episode was manipulative as fuck. Wow. Manipulative on Mallory's side or manipulative on Rosh's side. I can't remember who brought up the idea of
It
them
was
going to
Mallory.
the site. I think it was Mallory. Yeah. So yeah, that's very interesting. But you know, Raj ended up telling because the conversation did not go well whatsoever. Once again, Raj was thinking that Mallory is assuming the worst, but a prenup to me is preservation. Like if I was a very highly paid person, a very wealthy person, and I ended up meeting someone after my wealth occurred, I would probably seriously consider a prenup as well. So you know,
Yeah, because
you got to protect yourself in these situations. Go ahead, Dustin.
it protects you, and not only does it protect you, but it protects your money as well if you get married to somebody. Mm-hmm.
Right, exactly.
Especially if you have, especially if you have a lot of money. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Olivia says manipulative on Rash's side. I thought he wanted to see it. as they were heading down that road was weird. Yeah, that was a little weird to me as well. But it did seem to bring them closer together at least momentarily. So Dustin, what are your thoughts on Mallory considering a prenup with Rosh? And do you think it was a smart idea for her to at least consider having one? I have a feeling that he probably won't sign it, at least not at this point. But do you think it was fair for her to bring up that subject with Rosh? Do you think she
I
has a
think
reason?
I think it was fair. I think it was fair to bring up. You know, I look at it as protection, Jonathan. It
Right.
protects her bottom line because there's a lot of people that get a divorce. Let's just be honest.
Yeah.
In the United States, there's a 50% chance. It's very high here. Yes, I understand. It's very high here in the United States.
Right. It
Um,
is.
so you have to be very careful. It affects your bottom line because once you get married, Jonathan, it's if they don't get one, it's his. Just as much as this. Just as much as hers as it is his. So
Right.
it affects her bottom line. I do understand that, but I think I think they need to get one because I don't get a good feeling from Ross from this latest episode. I really don't, and
Yeah.
that's just my opinion. I don't get a good feeling from him, and
Yeah. The things.
I think it's gonna be turning out to be where you know if you don't do something now, you're gonna be regretting it later down the line.
Yeah, things aren't really on a good page for Raj and Mallory. I have a feeling because they seemingly love each other so much. Like I do see genuine love and care between the two. I would hope that Raj isn't a scammer. Once again, I haven't seen any signs of him being a scammer, but Olivia, you could be right about that. He could be a scammer and he could be trying to get over to America to live a better life. I mean, that is the typical storyline for almost all of the couples that we see here on 90 Day Fiance. So I hope that they can come back together. Though I am rooting for Ross and Mallory. They are honestly
Mhm.
my favorite couple. Excuse me, of this season. Auntie Robin says prenup is absolutely reasonable. Okay, and I agree with that, Auntie Robin. Y'all see what happened to Rachel Lindsay, the Bachelorette. She didn't get one, and paid her ex over $1 million plus spousal support. Yeah, like it's. I mean, you've got to consider it, Lau. I can understand if you don't want to get a prenup with someone who you've been with before you actually came into your wealth. But if your wealth is new, even if you're not a wealthy person like Mallory, you know what I'm saying, she's just trying to look out for herself and protect herself, and I can appreciate that. Olivia also says, same Dustin, asking someone to use their accident money to help your family is crazy. I get they are in a tent, but man, you don't ask that. You don't ask that from someone. It literally came from pain. Absolutely, that he isn't involved. Yeah, it is a painful thing for her. And I don't think Raj doesn't seem to take anything necessarily seriously in life, at least to me. I don't see that as necessarily a bad thing in some cases, but when you have to get down to the nitty gritty where the rubber hits the road, you have to be willing to have these conversations.
Yeah.
Olivia says, "I bet Edward signed his prenup." Right, and we'll get to Edward in a little bit. What were you going to say, Dustin?
I want to say that when she talks about pain, I definitely know what pain feels like, so I definitely understand where she's coming from with that. But you know what I mean? It's just like it's coming like you know. I understand where she's coming from with that, and I hope she gets what she want. You know what I mean? Hope she
Right,
gets what she deserves out of that situation.
absolutely. Yeah, prenups. It really honestly depends on the relationship that you have and whether you feel as though it is necessary. I don't think it's necessary in every case, but you got to take it on a case by case basis. Auntie Robin
Mm-hmm.
says, but consider the immigrant story. Mary, many who come here send money back home. They absolutely do to help their families. Yeah, it's a sticky situation no matter how you cut it. It really is. But I'm hoping the best for Mallory and Raj, and I do believe that they'll be able to get through whatever issues or challenges that they find themselves facing. Let's move on to Edward and Marissa. Speaking of Edward and Marissa, hold on. Before we get to Edward and Marissa, we have another comment from Olivia. So let's get on into it. So Olivia also says to Auntie Robin, that's true, but maybe he can start sending money after he starts working. After he starts working, LOL. Too much pressure for analog. Yeah, it is. Oh, too much pressure for Mallory. She corrected herself in the next comment by saying Mallory. Yeah, it is what it is. But let's get on to Marissa and Edward. So Marissa and Edward have a very important conversation that I feel like has been long overdue. Um, Marissa says that Edward looks like he's upset. Edward looks like he's a little frustrated, and Edward is frustrated. He's frustrated about the unreasonable expectations that Marissa has on him. When Marissa said that Edward should have been better prepared to come over to America, I don't know how else he could have prepared to come to America. So I want to know exactly what she meant by that, because she has some really unrealistic expectations that she's putting on Edward. And the backside to that is, with all these expectations that Marissa has, if she were to teach him, she has to tell him what she wants him to do. Like, that's where the communication has to come in. Like, if you don't tell him that you're expecting him to do X, Y, and Z, you can't get mad when he does not do X, Y, and Z. So Marissa expecting him to be this man, and you also have to consider that he's from a different country. The expectations in his country. I think he's from the Dominican Republic, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's from the
Dominican Republic. Yeah.
with him being from the Dominican Republic, maybe expectations are different where he's from, what men do in the house and things of that nature. So Marissa was just getting on my last good nerve, as usual. Auntie Robin says Marissa isn't sure what she wants her relationship to be. I agree with that. We have
Well,
heard.
I heard that over the weekend. I heard that Marissa lost her job at Cornfield, so
Wow.
she no longer works there. Uh, so I hope that she realizes that a lot of people have a lot of ups and downs. So if you don't have your own job, I would recommend you to keep your mouth shut, Marissa, because it could be happening to you just like it is right now. You don't have a job, so this you gotta be recommending this. This show was filmed a year ago, and a lot of things can change in a year. So as long as what I was told last night, you don't have a job. So I recommend you do some digging on yourself before before you go around and talking to somebody else. Talk about somebody else.
Absolutely. Auntie Robin goes on to say, we have heard her say it's like having another child. She wants him to be more parental. She wants him to do more around the house. Yeah, she has mentioned that as well. I just don't know how far they're going to get with that. Olivia says, for one, Edward should have stayed in her NYC apartment before moving him into the family home. That would have been a great idea, Olivia. I agree with that. He could get he could get climatized. Is that what it is? Climatized. I didn't know that was a word, Olivia. Climatized and have community to help him. Absolutely, I do agree with that. Auntie Robin also says I was done when Marissa said that Edward has never accomplished anything. She is a disgusting piece of shit, acting like she's a slave owner. I agree with that as well, and I was so disappointed when she said he has not accomplished anything. And we'll get into that a little bit later. Olivia says to Auntie Robin 100%. And then Auntie Robin says, remember, Edward is not accustomed to to the kind of home Marissa owns. Exactly. And which is, for instance, when they were in her New York apartment, she had a trash can that had an automatic lid, that is a motion sensor lid, and he was having fun with that. And she was like, I don't want to be playing with this for the next 5 minutes. Like, it was just, that's the type of dude he is. It's new to him. He wants to play with it. Let him play with it, girl. Auntie Robin also says, and another thing, Marissa wants from this is your new home to my house. Oh yeah, and another thing, Marissa went from this is your new home to my house. Yeah, that she switched up real quick with that for sure. Olivia says to Auntie Robin, she doesn't respect him at all. I agree with that wholeheartedly. She does not respect him at all, because if she did, she would not have said that she hasn't seen him accomplish anything. Auntie Robin says, "Good idea, Olivia." And then Olivia has another comment here that I will get to in a moment. And then we'll finish up with Marissa, and Edward. And then Olivia says, and you just know she degrades him to others too. I'm sure she does. I can't imagine how she speaks to her family, and her friends, and even her coworkers, that she blabbed to that he got a circumcision on the first episode. What she's saying about him behind his back. Um, but they sort of she does end up apologizing to Edward for the way that she's been treating him. So I'm glad that she's at least aware that she is not treating him well. I don't think we're going to see any change out of Marissa going forward, but at least she's able to acknowledge that she has not been treating him well. And I was so shocked to see that happen. Then Marissa takes Edward to her job. Everyone's so cordial and happy to see Edward when they see him, and I'm happy to see that. I don't know if all of that excitement was because the cameras were there or what, but I was at least happy to see that he got a great welcome to her job when she took him there. And he goes around New York City. He's walking the streets, and he's so happy. He's so excited to be in New York, and that's what I'm taking away from their storyline. To be honest, I don't consider Marissa in anything of this. I don't like watching Marissa. Her hair looked a mess on this episode, a complete mess on this episode.
Mm-hmm.
I need her to get that redone. I need her to get that done up. For a woman who has that type of wealth, I'm gonna need her to get her hair done. Like, for real, it's annoying to see. Auntie Robin says, "Sounds like the extent of Marissa and Edward's relationships consisted on her going to the DR, right? Every so often to get her back broken. Then it's and that is all. Yeah, it seems like she just wants Edward to be her little boy toy. I told my mom earlier today she just wants him to be her pool boy, to do some things around the house, and just to have, as Auntie Robin said a little bit earlier, a slave to boss around. Olivia says to Auntie Robin, she's laughing emojis. She literally only brought him over because the sex is good. That's it. That's all. Yeah. They did have some what Marissa considered makeup sex.
Mm-hmm.
So apparently they have great sexual chemistry. I don't care anything about that. I do not want to think about Edward and Marissa having sex whatsoever. I don't want that image to come anywhere near my mind whatsoever. And then I don't know if you guys noticed, but Marissa was looking for the money that Edward had brought, and Edward was like, "I gave it to you." And Marissa's looking through her purse; she doesn't find it. Edward takes one look in that purse, grabs the money, and Marissa's like, "Oh, I'm sorry." Sure, she's so annoying. Anyways, Auntie Robin says, uh, speaking of her job, Dorothy's extra. I urge. Let's see. Oh, extra. I'm sorry. Speaking of her job, Dorothy's extra large and extra white teeth are bugging me out. If you ever watched Say Yes to the Dress, it wouldn't freak you out like it does me. The blonde hair too. Yeah, must be, you must be talking about one of the women that work at the dress shop. There's so many women that work there. I have no idea who you're talking about, Auntie Robin, but I'm sure once I watch it again, I'll be able to see who it is. And then Olivia is laughing at Auntie Robin's last comment. So Dustin, what are your thoughts on Edward and Marissa this episode? The conversation that they had the night that they got there, her telling telling him her feelings about him not doing much around the house, and
Hmm.
Edward, getting out his frustrations and him going to New York. What are your thoughts altogether?
Uh, my thoughts, I will say this again. I don't like Marissa.
Mm-mm.
I don't care for Marissa. So to be honest with you, um, she gets everything. Well, she's gonna get everything she deserves, in my opinion. She didn't. She has not treated him well from day one. I don't care to see him um, back on the show again after this season is over. I don't care to see Marissa back. I hope he finds somebody else that treats him uh, like he needs to be treated, because I don't think it's gonna last very long.
Right.
I don't think it's gonna last very long at all.
Yeah, I don't want them to last at all.
Mm-mm.
I
I don't
want
either.
Edward
I don't
to
either.
break up with
I
Marissa.
don't. I don't like Marissa, point blank. Mm.
Yeah. Let's
And I
move
think,
on.
yeah,
Oh, go ahead.
and I
Go ahead,
and I
Dustin.
and I think that she's gonna have a rude awakening when he does leave her.
Hopefully. I don't think she would care that much, to be honest. But, we'll see if that actually happens. Let's move on to Thomas and Paula. So, Thomas and Paula, they have a conversation on the balcony. And, they kind of get back on the same terms, on the same page. It's my mother feels as though, Thomas may not have enough money to be able to take care of Paula when she gets here. And I shared with my mother that I feel as though he's just very frugal with his money. He's just very smart with his money. He only spends money on things that he actually needs. And, him having the apartment that he has, he was living there only by himself. So of course he's not going to have a bigger place if he's, that careful with his money. So I do like that about Thomas. They explained that there is an issue with Thomas's family.
Mm.
That he introduced Paula to his mother's side of the family. His parents are now divorced, so he introduced her to his mother's side of the family. She took some pictures with his mother. She seemed to be very chummy and very close with his mother. And then he introduced him. He introduced Paula to his father's side of the family. Allowed her to meet his stepmother, and apparently his stepmother had very big issue with Paula seeming to be so close to Thomas's mother. And I see that as a red flag for sure. Um, you know, I don't we didn't see any remnants of Thomas's stepmother's issues with Paula being so close to Thomas's mother. But I have a feeling we will see that in the next episode. And the fact
Right.
that Thomas's stepmother was talking about how Paula was dressing, that she's not dressing to be on a farm, like, come on, like that's it's really not that serious. It's really not that serious. Auntie Robin says Paula is problematic to me because she refuses to compromise. I agree with that wholeheartedly, Auntie Robin. She said that she wants what she wants, no questions asked. Exactly, that's exactly what it is. Auntie Robin also says after that, I felt forwarded through I fast forwarded through their scenes until they got to the farm. Yeah, excuse me. Paula does not seem to want to compromise at all, as excuse me, as Auntie Robin said, and I think that's going to get in the way. And I think Thomas is eventually going to get tired of that. Auntie Robin also says stepmom does seem um, does not. Hold on. She says Auntie Robin says stepmom does not like Paula. Yeah, it doesn't seem like she likes Paula at all. She was very nice to her, you know what I'm saying, when Paula got there. But there could be something underneath the veneers that we've been shown. Justin, what are your thoughts on Paula and Thomas this episode? Their conversation on the balcony of her saying that she wants what she wants, and She didn't necessarily specifically say what the issue was, but Thomas did say that he would try more. And what are your thoughts on the issues with Thomas's stepmom and Paula?
I think it's going to get better for Thomas and Paula, but I don't think it's going to get any better for the family side of it.
Mm,
I see a lot of issues with the family side. Um, the family side is not getting along already, and that's not a good sign. As we've seen the venue for the wedding, because they're going to have the wedding on a boat, so I don't think it's going to work out that way, especially with the family. But I hope it works out with Paula and I think it's going to work out for them too, but not for the family side. So that's what scares me for them too. I think that would be a deal breaker for Thomas
yeah.
if they can't get the family on the same page. But honestly, I don't think the family is going to get on the same page with that situation.
Yeah, Thomas was saying that they're focused so much on the little things when they need to be focused on getting married. So Thomas
Uh,
clearly wants to marry Paula. I don't know, just like with Josh and Katie, I don't know if Paula will be able to do anything that will make Thomas want to leave her because Thomas doesn't seem to really take too much seriously, to be honest, which is, again, I don't think that's much of a bad thing. Um, However, I don't think things really like get to him like that. So I don't know if Paula will be able to do anything that will cause him to leave her. So to be honest, I really don't care much for Paula and Thomas. To me, their dynamic is really weird and awkward because they're so
it's
hot and
very
cold with
weird,
one another.
very weird.
Um, when they're good, they're really, really good. But when they're bad, they're really, really bad. There's really no middle ground with Paula and Thomas. And I like to see middle ground when it comes to relationships on TV. So we'll see where they go from here. I just hope that Thomas's stepmom does not turn into a witch at some time and just goes off on Paula because I don't want to see her have to go through that. Because when Thomas initially said that there was an issue when it came to his parents and Paula, I thought Paula had actually done something wrong in that situation, but she had done nothing wrong. She was just taking pictures with Thomas's mother. So we'll see where it goes from here. Let's move on to Maxwell and Aisha. Aisha's continuing to get on my nerves.
As a,
Aisha says that Maxwell is acting differently towards her now than he had in the past. And to me, that means that Maxwell is actually speaking up for himself. Maxwell actually has an opinion on the way things are going. And I don't think Aisha is used to Maxwell actually having an opinion or even pushing back on Aisha. And Aisha's not used to that. And Aisha is getting really, really defensive. And I think Aisha is continuing to show her true colors. She then goes on to say, Aisha, out of her mouth says, "Oh, so when you told me that God told you that your wife was in America and she was in the South, you don't believe that anymore?" I don't believe that Maxwell said that at all. I don't believe that
that was a
Maxwell
red
said that
flag.
whatsoever. Because that sounds like something Aisha would say. So I don't believe that Maxwell said that at all. And I thought that Maxwell was going to give her a little bit more pushback, but Maxwell fell for the trap when Aisha gave him this ultimatum, like, if you don't believe in this relationship, if you don't think that it's going to work, tell me now so I can go back to America. And I think a lot of times people give ultimatums when they're trying to get their way, and Aisha was definitely trying to get her way in this situation. Auntie Robin says, "Joe Nathan, I sent you that video because I wanted you to see Aisha's bad wig and jacked up skin. Hot meat kettle. Yeah, you sent that to me on Instagram. I think it was Auntie Robin, and I don't think I was able to actually pull up the link. Yeah, because I'm looking at it and I'm trying to click on it now. Oh! I see it now. I see it now. Yeah, Aisha and this bad wig. This wig is terrible.
You have to send it to me so I can see it, Jonathan.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. I see it now, Auntie Robin. Thank you so much for sending that to me. That is a terrible wig. But anyway, so they go on to discuss how they're going to move forward with this visa process. And Maxwell feels as though if they try to go for I think it's the K1 visa, they feel as though that they're going to be denied again, and they don't want to spend the money and go through that process again. So they both now feel that it's best for them to go for the spousal visa. And Aisha goes on to say, so how are we going to go about getting married? Do we go to a court? What is it that we do? And Maxwell says, well, since your mother is here and since my family is here, we might as well do it while you're on this trip. Then
I think
Maxwell
it's
goes on
too
to
quick.
say he does not think that this is going to go over well with his family, which I definitely agree with him. And I think Maxwell knows that his family is not going to be here for this decision for them to get married, especially so quickly. um, I don't see this going well for Aisha and Maxwell. To be honest, I want Maxwell to break up with Aisha. Much like the other couples, I don't know what Aisha can do to make Maxwell want to break up with her. I just hope that they get there sooner than later. Lady Virgo says to Auntie Robin, she's laughing, and then she says, "Robin, you are you are on a roll today, sis." Yes, Auntie Robin is definitely on a roll for sure. Um, I'm a little bit scared for Maxwell because he's attaching himself to whom I think to be a seemingly unbalanced woman. Um, when I showed Jennifer video of her, Jennifer went on to say that it seemed like she's not she's. mm, I'm trying to say this in the nicest way possible. Doesn't seem like she's in her right mind, I would say. And yeah, Aisha's got those crazy eyes. It's unnerving to see sometimes. Olivia says, "I've turned into Aisha's TikTok. I've tuned into Aisha's TikTok, love, and I have to say yes. She's defensive at times, and she's a bit loony for sure, Olivia, but she's tolerable during her lives, unlike in the episodes. Okay, so it seems like she's a little bit more normal in real life. Oh, I'm glad that that's the case. I do, because on TV she comes off as a crazy woman. That's just the bottom line, at least for me. And then Olivia goes on to say, and spoiler, she's a medical pharmacist, and I think they edited her horribly. She has her annoying quirks, but she can be endearing at times. Well, I'm glad that you're able to see that side of Aisha, Olivia. I don't know if I'm interested in trying to see it for myself, but hey, at least you know that she has another side to her. Then Auntie Robin goes on to say to Lady Virgo, "There's a YouTuber named Julian, something who does reviews, or I'm assuming you meant to say someone who does reviews. Um, I I discovered him recently, and he is a low key hoot. Asia has attacked him for his reviews. Wow.
Yeah, I
He
seen
called
that.
Marissa boss and CEO. Yeah, I need to look him up. Named Julian. I need to find Julian's reviews. It sounds like it's very entertaining. But Dustin, what were your thoughts on Aisha and Maxwell's dynamic this episode, and their decision to go ahead and get married to get the spousal visa?
2 words for me. Good luck to you. I don't
Yeah.
think it's gonna work out for you. Good luck to you. I don't think it's gonna work out for you. That's it.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to work out for them either. I don't actually want it to work out for them. And I hope that when Maxwell tells his mother that they're going to get married, she's able to talk him out of it. I hope that Maxwell's mother is able to talk him out of getting married to Aisha. I don't see it as a good thing. I don't. Auntie Robin says something as in I don't remember his last name. Gotcha, gotcha. Okay, okay, and oh, Olivia said, Julian Huggins. Gotcha. I'll go find him right now, Olivia. Julian Huggins. It sounds like a great idea for me to look him up, child.
Yeah, send it to me, Jonathan. So I don't have to. Don't send it to me so I can watch it.
Yeah, I definitely will. I definitely will. But anyways, yeah, that's got it. I found him. I found him, Auntie Robin. I'm gonna start watching him. I'm gonna start watching him. I hope y'all don't mind me looking him up live while I was on live. But yeah,
It don't bother me.
um,
That doesn't bother me. I'm used to it. I'm used to it.
but yeah, I don't see it for Aisha at all. I love Maxwell. I love seeing him on the show. I just don't want them to be together at all. And then Olivia goes on to say it's going to take him at least 2 years to come over, and his parents want kids. She'll be over 40 by then. Exactly. I don't see kids in their future whatsoever. I really don't. But let's move on to our final couple, Shay and Annabelle. So Shay has moved Nicole's couch out of his shed. He's going to be, it seems like he said he's going to sell her dining table set. And he's hoping that that's going to allow him to get on Annabelle's better side. And so then Shay and Annabelle go on to take a walk with some coffee. Annabelle feels that Shay is still in love with Nicole. And I think there's a big difference between being in love and loving someone. You can love someone without being actually in love with them. So, there's a big difference there. And then Annabelle goes on to say that she does not want Shay to have any more contact with her. Shay then tells her that they do have a child, and so it's going to be hard for him to not have any contact with her. So I don't know if Shay did say he'll do that for her, but I don't see him following through with that
He,
whatsoever.
in my opinion, he can't follow through with it because he has a toddler together. So I don't see a problem with that. But I think that she needs to figure that out because I think that ain't gonna change because you have a child with somebody that changes your whole life.
Yeah, yeah. Lady Virgo says to Auntie Robin, thanks for the tip, beautiful sis. I'm a look for his content also, Robin. Absolutely. I'm going to watch some of his videos right after this review is over, to be
Yeah,
honest.
don't forget to send it to me so I let her for me to find it. So I just send it to him and get you.
I definitely will. I definitely will. Lady Virgo, me too, Jojo. I'm a look for him also. Absolutely. And then Olivia goes on to say Annabelle's facial expressions are hilarious. That's exactly what I notice every time Annabelle is on screen, Olivia, is Annabelle's facial expressions, like how she's feeling. You can see it all over her face, like none other. I won't say I've never seen facial expressions like hers, but her expressions are priceless.
I
Auntie
have.
Robin says, "Oh, Shay, can you see? Oh, Shay, can you see? What a mess! If Annabelle saw Katie, she wouldn't be as bothered. I agree with that. Let Annabelle see Katie have a drink, and she won't think Shay is doing anything wrong. Um, so yeah, Annabelle asked Shay to cut off all communication with Nicole. Shay says he'll do it. I don't see that happening. I'm sure we will see Nicole somewhere down the line in this season. And then we go on to Shay having a birthday party. And Shay has a lake house. So Shay's got money, honey. So I think that's great for Shay. He seems to be doing very well for himself, which I'm happy to see. And so when Allison comes over to help set up for the party, Shay confronts Allison on what she told Annabelle. And Allison's like, "Shoot, I just told her the truth. I told her the things that you refused to tell her. And I was telling her the truth. It would be another thing if she was lying to Annabelle about what Shay does. But it seemed as though Allison didn't tell any lies, at least not to me. And, Shay didn't say that Allison lied to Annabelle for anything. So it's clear that Shay was just upset that she told Annabelle the truth. Auntie Robin says, "What state is Shay in again?" Let me look and see, because I do have it here in my notes. Hold on here. Let me see. Uh, there we go. Let's see. Shay is in Kentucky. He's in Paducah, Kentucky. Shay is in Paducah, Kentucky. And then Olivia gives her the answer right there as well. And he's in Paducah, Kentucky. Um, so they once the party gets started, everyone is so nice to Annabelle. They're giving her hugs. She takes a couple shots. Annabelle is having a good time. Shay then introduces Annabelle to a younger looking woman and says, if I was like 20 years younger, you wouldn't be here. I think that was quite insensitive for Shay to say. I'm so disappointed in him for saying that. And Annabelle sees Shay's the way that Shay is acting as though he's flirting. And I think Annabelle is overreacting just a little bit. I think Shay has a flirtatious personality about himself. I don't think Shay would do that in front of Annabelle if he felt as though Annabelle would feel some type of way about it. I think Annabelle has to trust Shay a little bit more. I don't think Shay would go all the way with another woman. Yes, he might, flirt with another woman. He'll probably talk to another woman as though it seems like he might be interested in them. There might be a little bit of touching here and there. I don't think he would kiss another woman. I don't know. I'm rooting for Shay to do Annabelle right. And I think that in Shay's mind, Shay is not doing anything wrong by, being a little bit touchy feely with another woman or, flirting with another woman. I don't think Shay sees anything wrong in that. And I think Shay and Annabelle have to have the conversation and set boundaries for what is acceptable and what is not acceptable so that they can be clear on what their boundaries are. Because without that conversation, Annabelle is going to be upset the entire time she's here in America. Dustin, what were your thoughts on the conversation that Shay had with Annabelle about him losing all contact with Nicole? And did you see Shay flirting? Because to me, I didn't see it as flirting personally, but maybe that's because I like Shay so much and I want to
No,
root for him.
I
What were
didn't.
your thoughts?
I didn't think it was flirting with her. I didn't think it was flirting. I just think it was having fun.
Right.
There's a lot of things. There's a lot different than having fun and having flirting. So that wasn't flirting. But I want to say one more thing before I have to go. Um,
Okay.
before I have to go, I want to say that good luck, Annabelle, because that ain't gonna change. If you have a
It's
child
not.
with somebody, you have to have contact with you have to have some kind of contact with your ex-wife, especially if your child have a child together with it. So that's my situation right there, and good luck to you. Good luck to you very much.
Right. I just want for Annabelle to loosen up a little bit because she's marrying this man, Shay, who clearly has the personality type where he loves everyone and he shows everyone love. And it seems like he would give you the shirt off of his back if he had the chance. Like Shay is such a good man, in my opinion, and he just so happens to be a little flirtatious. But I don't think that Shay would step out on Annabelle. And I wish
I
that
don't think you
Annabelle.
would either.
Right. Yeah, I don't think he would. I think he loves Annabelle. I do think he wants to settle down with Annabelle. But Annabelle has to realize that she's going to stay with Shay. He's not going to change at all. He's not going to change whatsoever. And if she can't accept that, she might as well go back to the Philippines. And she did say that, if he did not, excommunicate Nicole from his life, which I think is asking too much, that she would just go back to the Philippines. And so Annabelle's got to be either put up or shut up, either put up with it or go back to the Philippines. Like,
I
she's
say
got
go
to make
back to
that
the
decision.
Philippines and be done with it.
I think that would be the best for Annabelle because with Shane not changing, Annabelle's just going to continue to be frustrated by his actions, and she's just going to continue to feel that way. And no one wants to feel that way at all. No one wants to feel that way at all. We got one more comment, and then we're going to get up out of here, you guys. Thank y'all so much for joining us. It's been awesome. Olivia says Shay isn't ish, but he got in a nice lake house. Jeez Louise, you don't like Shay, Olivia? I mean, Shay is who he is, and you know, Annabelle's got to be able to accept it or just go away. That's just my opinion. But thank you guys so much, Olivia, Lady Virgo, Auntie Robin in the comments. I appreciate you ladies so much for joining us for this review. Join me every Thursday night at 8 p.m. for my live Hot Topics and Social Commentary show. I go live every Thursday night at 8 p.m. with my sister Prophetic Fire Reiki, as well as our friend Bianca Edwards. We always have a great time talking about the latest happenings and goings on in the world. So join us every Thursday night. And also tomorrow, be on the lookout for my review for RuPaul's Drag Race All Stars. Bye.